Welcome back to the Delaware Way. I'm Larry Menti. In this last election we just had, there was a stunning victory that we all know about, was Donald Trump, but there was also a stunning victory locally as well. In the 7th Senate District, Anthony Delcollo beat Patricia Blevins, who is the president pro tem of the Senate. So how did he do it? Well, Senator Delcollo is here with us now. Sir, thank you so much for joining us.
Very happy to be here.
So how did you do it?
Well, it was a lot of start early, a lot of build a great team, and I was blessed to have an amazing group of people who believed in what we were trying to do, helping me, and then a lot of talking to people and knocking on doors and knocking on more doors and knocking on more doors. So those were the three, if I had to look at the ingredients, those are the three things that led to the upset.
Well, nationally, it was an election for outsiders. Nationally, it was an election for change. Did that affect your race?
I think it must have, but in the precise way, it's still a head scratcher for me. We did get a chance to look at the returns in a lot of the local election districts, and there were areas where folks voted against the Republican nominee for president in very significant numbers, but just from the amount of votes that we got in those areas, it was clear there was a lot of crossover. So perhaps it was a desire for change, perhaps it was some of that national flavor, but I also think that it was a lot of really talking to my neighbors and trying to build connections with people.
And so you must be a star right now in the Republican Party, because the Republican Party has been down for a long time in Delaware and looking for a way to rise again. And so every time a Republican candidate is able to break through, I would imagine there's many people coming to you saying, what was the strategy, what exactly did you did, and trying to capture the magic that you had in your campaign.
Again, the three things really are, let's be sure to start early. Like a lot of folks look at the time frame of an election in Delaware as a short thing. I think that's a mistake. Start early. We door knocked aggressively for 10 months. We had the backroom stuff of what our campaign logo wanted to look like, how we would do social media, the types of things that become how you're identified as a candidate. A lot of that was done. So we really hit the ground running.
Did you win it, or did Patricia Blevins blow it?
I think Delaware voters are the sort of people who like to have confidence. And so that's going to require some lack of confidence in the incumbent and absolutely confidence in the person who's running. So I think it would have to be a little bit of both.
Did she take it for granted? I mean, did she run aggressively against you?
The expectation was that I would fail, but I can tell you for certain that we took nothing for granted.
Well, congratulations, and now you're in the Senate. And I know a lot of people that have run for office and then got into office and realized, I didn't expect this. I didn't expect it was going to be like this.
Right.
And there's a lot of pressure to vote along party lines.
Right.
Have you already felt that pressure?
You know, it's definitely an interesting thing. Nothing of late has come up that I would think is a particularly divisive issue. There's not been a lot of action, if you will, in the first 3 weeks that we were in, you know, especially with the budget concern that's dominating, I think, everyone's perspective. So I haven't seen that yet. You
know there's going to be pressure to vote with the Republican Party.
Right.
Do you see yourself agreeing on checking every box, or is there going to be that moment where you have to decide whether you're going to vote your conscience or the party?
You're going to find that I'm a person who considers very closely what I feel to be right and who pays very deep attention to the concerns of my friends, family, and neighbors in the area that I represent. So those are the first questions. And of course, everyone has an ideology. You have to almost to be involved in this business, but that's my first concern.
The budget crisis is paramount right now. I spoke with the governor when he was governor-elect, and he said to me that the revenue that we have coming in is not sustainable. It's not dependable. And that we need more dependable income. And I asked him if that meant taxes, and he said, yes, everything's on the table. All taxes will be on the table. Will you be taking a hard line against taxes, or are you willing to compromise?
I think you have to be willing to compromise, because certainly there is a absolute repeating. This is not the first time we've seen this. This has been a freight train coming down the tracks for a number of years, for at least the last 2, 3, 5 years. So we have systemic problems, and I think we have to be willing to compromise. But the other thing that we need to do beyond taxes is to make sure that we assign value to the way that we spend our tax dollars. So it has to be a dual conversation. To talk merely about raising revenues and defer the conversation that's been deferred for many years about are we getting value for the line items that we spend would be, I think, a total abandonment of our responsibility as public servants to make sure that we're getting the job done for the people we represent.
Well, congratulations again, Senator.
Thank
you so much. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me.
State Senator Anthony Delcollo from District 7. Everybody will be watching you. That wraps up the Delaware Wave for this week. I'm Larry Menti. You can go to www.kjwp2.com to replay segments from this show or previous shows, and leave your comments about what you've seen on today's show on our Facebook page, or you can reach me on Twitter at The Delaware Way or at Larry Menti. We may read your thoughts on a future show. Again, I'm Larry Menti. See you again next week.